It's the same old story. It's been a long day at the job, or maybe it's just starting to feel long, and you feel that urge to stretch your legs and get a little bit of a break. You walk down the street, or maybe you get behind the wheel of your car, and you feel the weight begin to lift. You walk through the doors, and the sound of the place starts to clear the air. You get a table, you order your drink, you listen to the sounds of the bar, and soak in the conversation. Welcome to the T&E Speakeasy with your hosts, Caleb and Isaac. Listen in as I discuss the 1997 animated special, Santa vs. the Snowman.
And after all that holiday spirit that Caleb just brought us graciously from Black Christmas, now it is my turn to give y'all some of what I have a taste for this year.
Oh, and I'm pumped. After that last one, I'm on such a high for some Christmas horror, and you told me it's a surprise today, so I'm definitely expecting something grim and horrifying to come, and I'm pumped.
Unless you're the Red Letter Media guys who have to review a lot of schlock and B-movie titles. See, this one's a little like that, you could almost say, just with, like, I wouldn't say subject matter, but it has the title that would befit it of a B-movie of sorts. Oh. So I can't really, yeah, it's a little deceiving, and some may think it's a little hokey, and I mean, maybe some people it is, but for me, I enjoy this one. Maybe it's just a bias of me, of course. But yeah, today we're going to be reviewing Santa Claus versus the Snowman.
Okay. I can see a little bit of horror action in there. Maybe some Charles Band, like a couple puppets running around. Okay, I can't wait. Let's head over to the screening room. But yeah, I'm curious about this one. Oh, with that title lead up, I was sure you're going to say Silent Night, Deadly Night. But,
oh wait, did you just spoil your pick for next year?
Maybe. I don't know if I'd pick that one, but I could do.
There's something stuck up in the chimney and I don't know what it is, but it's been there all night long. Well, I waited up for Santa all Christmas night, but he never came, and it don't seem right that there's something in the chimney and it doesn't make a sound, but I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, this one's definitely another curveball. This is not not necessarily what I was expecting from the title when you first told me this, but I'll say right off the bat, I'd never heard of this. No clue. I'm assuming that you'd had some experience with this prior.
I can't remember if this was 2003 or 2, not when it was released, because it says 97. I'm aware of that. But I'm just like, I don't know when this, it's probably either early aughts, like we're talking literally early aughts, down at the Pacific Center, right near kind of where the Port of Vancouver is. They had an IMAX screen there. I don't know if it's still there or not. Actually, it might still be. I don't really know. And they played this. They played this back in the day for a Christmas, or at least maybe lead up to Christmas one year. And I remember, I think a bunch of people from my church went down to see it. Like a bunch of youth, I think, went down and saw it. And I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. Like just Santa Claus versus the Snowman. Like that. I don't know why. As soon as you have verses in there, it automatically makes it a lot better.
Well, I guess that's fair. Maybe not for Alien versus Predator, but certainly got me hyped for it. But yeah, what is it about versus? Well, what is it about that makes it more of a thrill? Is it just like the I don't know what to call it. The thrill of putting two icons against each other? I mean, a snowman versus Santa Claus. What's going to happen there?
Yes.
Two titans.
That's basically it.
Yeah, the rumble in the poles, I guess you can call it. I don't know.
Rumble in the North Pole, actually.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know if he's declaring war on penguins anytime soon.
Yeah, and I will say, although I was not prior, although I had no prior history with this film, once I saw a certain name in the credits, I immediately knew who this was from and was like, "Oh, okay, interesting, interesting." And anyone who's been involved in Star Wars fan circles for a long time, I'm sure they recognize the name Steve Odenkirk. I'm assuming you know his history there.
He's affiliated with Bob Odenkirk, correct?
Bob Odenkirk. That name also sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I know who that is.
Oh wait, sorry. Well, whoever the guy who plays Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad.
Oh, oh, oh. I, I, I don't know.
Oh wait, are they different? Oh well, I'm caught with my pants down.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I guess I'll say, yeah, Steve Odenkirk. This guy. I think it was right around when the Phantom Menace came out. He began putting out these little parody shorts, and one of my uncles had, I think he had three of them on DVD. I'm surprised that these were even sold on DVD, but it was Thumb Wars, the first one. You never heard of these?
Okay, that does sound familiar, but go on.
Yeah, it was like he would just do like a parody of like A New Hope, except it would just be yeah, with all thumb characters with CGI faces on them. I guess he was an animator, and I liked them when I was a kid. I've never thought about going back to them or had any desire to, but you see his name pop up in Star Wars circles every now and again. And I know he did a whole bunch of them. I think he did a Batman one, and I don't know what else. I just can't imagine they'd be good to go back to, but
Well, I guess watching this, what were your initial thoughts?
I'll say that in just a second. Actually, I just typed in his name, and the first thing that popped up was Jimmy Neutron. It turns out he was the creator of that series. Huh,
So that was him, eh?
what the heck? Did not know that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm obviously I'm coming into this with like no knowledge of the guy. I just wanted to review this and didn't do any behind the scenes research on it because I don't know. I just wanted to watch this thing instead of like knowing anything behind the scenes. But interesting.
Oh, but yeah, initial thoughts for this one. So right off the bat, coming in, recognizing that name, I had a feeling that I was in the place for some humor, having some funny little tidbits, and some of them did tie into him directly. Like when we get to the whole kind of Hoth parody sequence, I was smiling. I was like, "Oh, there we go. There's Steve right there, coming out."
That was the main reason why I wanted to show you this, just because it had that like this really cool like I don't know if it's fan service, but that little like oh hey it's a reference and they're using it to I guess like the humor of the subject matter.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. I had a lot of fun there. Overall, I did enjoy this quite a bit. A short little thing, a tiny little piece of entertainment for the holiday season. I could see some people from nowadays, having some issues with the primitive animation style. But for the era that this came out in, I think that this was up to snuff for, kind of an independent project. And I think all the humor and the fun gags kind of carry it through. And I also appreciate the narration. It was actually making me think a little bit of Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure. I was getting some of that with the fact that we're following a lead character who doesn't speak, this Snowman. And yeah, I think to better effects in that movie. But how about you? What are your thoughts coming back to this? And have you seen this more than once?
No, this is the second time I've seen it. I just remember like it being a Christmas special, I guess if you want to call it that, from when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh, bring things in from when we're kids or when we're, just things that we enjoy from our youth. And so I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed this. Like, it's not the greatest thing ever, but what I don't know, I just enjoy all like the creativity that is involved here. I don't think it like sure you could say like okay, I get referencing things and it's their take on how the whole Santa Claus culture works, like everything at the North Pole and how they make toys and how the sleigh works and how the reindeer operate as well. But I kind of like that. I like the take almost. It's like because Santa is like a public domain character.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the unique take of, yeah, this is Santa for the new millennium. He's all hopped up on computers. His whole empire is run on like this techno. He's like taking the factorization of delivering these toys to the extreme. and the ultra surveillance system, surveillance state that he's got built up. It's all pretty crazy, but fun.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of like the surveillance state that he would have, given like he knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake.
Yeah,
It's like as
exactly.
as nowadays that lyric might be cancelable, but again, it came
Oh,
from a place of not like a different time.
and it was always a little bit creepy. Like when you're talking about with your friends, you could be like, "Yeah, Santa's like always watching. Is he watching in the bathroom?" That's where kids always go to. And yeah, there's a little bit of a creepy edge just in the underlying story there. And even though this didn't deliver on the horror movie promises that I was hoping, some stuff with those elves does get creepy. I don't know. This is maybe the creepiest elf design I've seen in something directed towards kids. Little rhino noses and the pointy ears.
I'll admit like all that was just I blind once again. Something about this animation style, like I'm completely blind to. I don't know why.
Did you like when Santa came in and was like, "You guys are doing good work," and they all in like the robots. Thanks, Santa. We appreciate you.
I mean, I just assume that's the how the actors performed it.
Oh, and I guess before we continue, would you like to do a little summary for us, or would you prefer me to run through this little plot for us?
First, I just realized I'm surprised actually to your point earlier where he's kind of industrialized everything. I'm surprised he hasn't like made the elves, robots.
It's a fair point. That's his next step. Next year, there's going to be a lot of layoffs for these elves, and robots are going to take their place.
Oh no. Or they become cyborgs. Cyborg elves. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, all you elves, you got to come in for the new initiation. And they go into a room, they all pass out, and yeah, he robotifies them. Yeah, that's getting scary.
Ugh, it's like that plot from Sonic SatAM.
Oh, but the plot summary.
So we initially have this lonely snowman
Mm.
just going about his days. Not I don't know who made him, but doesn't have any friends. Very sad, very lonely fellow. It seems as though he wishes to have a friend, given his lonely nature, and just that's all he knows. Until just sitting on his little, I guess, pile of snow there, playing his recorder. They say flute. That's I mean, yeah, I don't think it's
Appropriate for kids.
anyway. There you go. And so he's one day, oh, it's his house. I forgot about that. That's right, it is his house. Little Mounties on there. And one day Santa goes by, I guess, testing out his sleigh before Christmas. Smart idea to do that, but unfortunately, he gets knocked over, the snowman, and his flute recorder breaks. He then, is curious and is like, where did that fellow come from? Where's he going? He finds Santa's workshop. He finds Santa's village, excuse me, in the North Pole. And from there, he's just like Jack Skellington, and he's all just like, "What is this?" Like the first time he's ever, known, I guess, happiness and whatnot. And not similar to Jack, I guess similar, but not in the same way. He has that same approach of like, I'd like to kind of like replace Santa almost, but it's because he sees that all the elves love him and praise him. And so he's like, I would love to, kind of be like this. I'd like to fill my heart, my empty heart, with this warmth. And so he hatches after also trying to take a actual recorder from Santa's workshop. It ends in him being having to flee, and well, after a few other incidences of him trying to organize his plan, does he declare war on Santa.
Yeah, and comedy ensues.
Caleb, let's, I guess, just start with, the same stuff as, your best thing and your worst thing.
Best thing I think is just the overall just fun vibe. This thing here, it's just looking to have a good time, and sometimes I do feel like their jokes go a little bit, maybe even aiming to over the kids' heads with some of the jokes that they throw in here. But overall, it's just it zooms by pretty quick. Very few lulls, and a lot of good variety in the gags as well. Worst thing is, I don't know if I have one. Overall, I just enjoyed it. Oh, actually, I do have a worst thing. Of course, I almost forgot because I in my mind don't even include it as part of the movie. It's the blooper section.
I knew it. I knew it.
I never like those faux bloopers. I find them just, I don't get the appeal. But that's just me.
I'm glad you stayed to the end because then when you saw it, or I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I remember this when I was a kid, but oh man, do I like? Yeah, I saw that immediately. I'm like, oh, this is going back to our discussion with like uh, bloopers in animated shows or movies. Excuse me.
Yeah, never my favorite. But how about you?
Oh, would you? Sorry, what's your rating or like feeling or not feeling it?
Oh, 5 out of 10. I no. Definitely giving it the green light. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, for Christmas green is what I got for this.
I guess yeah. Actually, that sucks because we have Christmas green and Christmas red. That's not great.
Hey, that's when you decide. Yeah.
So I guess if I had to flip my board, this movie made me feel like, despite its B movie title, this delivers on a worthwhile, from a certain standpoint, versus movie, and probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, definitely better than Batman v Superman, I would think. In terms of length, definitely, at least.
I guess this is the better snow film between this and Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
I'll say it utilizes the snow a lot more and a lot more creative.
And I can't think of any ties to Freddy vs. Jason. I'll keep thinking about it.
I know where I'm not waiting, but let's see. My best thing is overall like the big like set piece where it is like that Battle of Hoth inspired bit. Just what they go with and ties to many other I think like references from other like pop media or pop culture media. Excuse me. I enjoyed. Worst thing? Oh yeah. Yeah, even I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's hard. Because it's actually the perfect length as well. They like, even though this is over the regular 20-minute mark, this honestly could be like a TV special.
Mm-hmm. Which I think this was aired as. I think.
Yeah, eventually it was probably put on television. I don't know. Because they do give, I do like the fact that they give both sides, like the Snowman and Santa, some like grind, not grind, but they do give him like some flaws almost, where like you can see like Santa is running his whole operation like a police state fortification in a way, but the Snowman also just has these like dastardly smiles as well. I see it more as mischievous, not so much dastardly.
Oh, and I did write in my notes, not knowing where this was going to go, when we see the poor lonely snowman and he's playing his little recorder, doesn't know anything, like, doesn't know family or friends, he's just alone. And then he comes across a group with a lot more. They have this big, beautiful home, all this stuff. They're all friends with each other. And what's the first thing he does but try to take a piece for himself and steals? I was like, hey, look at this. This is some social commentary on what makes people criminals. And then we see him become like the ultimate, like, oh, I'm going to steal Santa's place and steal everything he has. And it's like, there we go. See, and what turns him around? It's not locking him up, but it's kindness and understanding. That's what helps solve the problem. There you go.
And to be fair as well, like, he didn't know the rules, of course, so that's, not always on him as well, but, and Santa even said, hey, you gotta, like, just wait till Christmas, but he didn't know that, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Who knows? I guess my worst thing is, this is really petty, but on the second time we're inside the control room, or at least the security room, with the way it was a cool setup they had, like almost like a teeter-totter. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
with all
yeah.
screens. The second time when the snowman is invading, there's still like a, so stupid. There's just another like recording of the snowman, in the act. He's like still in the ride and taking pictures with the ice cream cone. Yeah,
I love that.
That was reused, great, but it's like that's not in the same scene. So it's like they were recycling foot. This is how petty and like
This is really reaching.
Grasping at straws of just like there's nothing really I hate about this.
Yeah, I did want to comment that one of my favorite pieces of design in the whole thing is the snowman disguise, as he's doing his little a little bit of espionage, trying to figure out, okay, what's the secret to this Santa? How does he operate? And these stupid security guys, they're in there like, hey, wait a minute, isn't that Snowman the same one that stole that recorder? Oh no, this one has a mustache, can't be him. Oh yeah, you're right.
See?
I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, despite like, the fact that, they were looking for him, they're like, oh, not the same guy.
Yeah, mustache? No way.
Nope.
Can't be a disguise.
Nope. And glasses? Nope, not him.
And then his little spy gear of the secret snow cone camera. I was like, hey, that's cute. A
Yep.
little bit of the Cold War there.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh yeah, and the '50s Santa propaganda reel too. I guess that also fits into that same theme. Yeah, lots of little clever, unexpected gags. And Ben Stein showing up too as the tour guide. I thought was pretty funny of the Santa Museum.
It's funny. I never like know his name, but I know his voice.
Yeah, I was immediately thinking Bueller, Bueller. Yeah, I thought I did pretty good there.
I do feel bad because he probably has always been typecast to just be like random generic guy.
Well, that's his niche. That's where he.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like a stand-up guy who was just friends with a lot of those writers, and so they would throw him in. I'm assuming that's how he has his career.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean that in a wrong way. I'm just like sad if people only like wanted him for his voice because of how like monotonous it is, and they needed it like that. I almost wonder what it would be like if you actually did like a documentary or like a audiobook.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the voice, did I was looking up this voice because I was like, hey, this guy, I don't know, he sounds kind of familiar. Like who is this? And it turned out that this guy is kind of a big deal. Don LaFontaine. Do you know that name?
It was in the credits.
Yeah, apparently they call this guy like the king of movie trailers because throughout the 80s and the aughts and the 90s, he was like the go-to one. They even said that the phrase "in a world" is credited to like a kind of his career. The parody of it comes because he said it in so many movie trailers, and I was definitely recognizing it. And I guess it was just from those movie trailers, and they got him to do the narration for this. But I think he brought a lot of humor to it too, and I think he gave some good deliveries and some sympathy to that evil snowman or bad snowman, I should say, not evil.
Misunderstood.
There you go. Yeah, misunderstood.
Mischievous.
Turned to a life of crime because that's the only opportunity he has. Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think? Did you like Dawn in this one?
Yeah, no. I've heard his voice in trailers. I didn't know he was like one of the. I thought he was a trailer guy. I didn't know he was the trailer guy.
Yeah. Yeah. The trailer guy. 5,000 trailers. That's crazy.
Wow! Holy cats! That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently he also did some announcing for WWE. I saw when I was looking him up too. I was like, hey, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
But I had something in mind that I was just about to go to. Well, what are some standout gags for you? Was the main one the Hoth sequence, or did you have some other little fun ones?
Yes. Well, before we go that, let's because I don't want to keep referencing
Sure.
or just say like, oh, this is my favorite one, and this is this. So like, I don't know exactly know how to get along with this. I guess this is very much a similar, like I said earlier, like in the beginning, this is almost similar to Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't think they were like trying to, intentionally rip it off. I don't even mean it in like a rip off sense.
Yeah, yeah, or yeah, ride the coattails. Yeah, it could have just been a similar story path is naturally going to follow from what they're doing here. And I feel like the different style, the different tone, definitely helps separate the two of them, in my mind at least.
Different types of animation, by the way.
Yeah, very, very different. Yeah.
And yeah, again, clearly I'm very well aware nobody like our age or, obviously the Gen Z and Gen Alpha would reject this altogether and call this unwatchable for what it's doing with animation. But again, like I said, I have a blind spot for these animations.
Yeah, and depending on the person, of course, there's lots of variants in there. Lots of younger folks who, just like us, are totally fine to go back to old stuff and enjoy it. I think sometimes they get a bad rap, but
I forgot to mention as well early on when I watched this originally it was 3D. I don't know if you've seen some of the versions on YouTube. Not that's funny if they could show it on 3D or as 3D, but no, and in the theater in IMAX it wasn't 3D.
oh, okay. Yeah, I did see that when I looked it up on Wikipedia. It said, yeah, in 3D, but I just forgot about that. Yeah, no, that's a fun detail. How was the 3D, if you remember?
Well, I don't know. I can't fully remember it. I
Fair.
actually forgot about the open, like the beginning of the film, where it's like Santa Claus picks out like the audience members, or I guess us, the audience, to be on the
Yeah.
naughty list.
Yeah, the gag. Play gag on the audience. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot. I completely forgot. I forgot to flip my sign. So this one is going on the nice list.
There you go. There, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not doing red and green this for Christmas because that kind of just conflates because it's Christmas colors.
Well, I was riding with it. I thought it was fitting because yeah, then it can be like yay or nay. Either way, you're still in the season.
Oh yeah,
But
of course, 'tis the season. It would be funny if, because there's a DVD out there for this. Apparently, I do wonder if it is in 3D. But of course, how many flat screens nowadays have 3D capabilities?
well, at this time they would have been doing the blue and green or the red and green 3D. Or was it blue and green?
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember which one it was? Where is my Friday the 13th?
I thought it was blue and green. Or sorry, no, blue and red. Pardon me.
Yeah, blue and red. I think you're right. I got a couple pairs here.
I have my 3D.
Yeah, blue and red right there.
I have my real 3D glasses in my drawer.
Yeah, I got my. They look like Jason's mask, except they have the blue and red there.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
Let's.
Movie looks bad in 3D, but still fun to have
That's intentional.
it. But yeah, I guess to focus on the Hoth scene. What are some highlights there? I did appreciate.
The obvious.
Oh, the chicken walker guys.
Yep, the chicken walkers. Or sorry, the chicken igloos. And by the way,
Chicken igloos, very cool.
cool, like, not effect, but cool thing, they have snowshoes as feet.
Yeah, no, I like that. Everything about them was just cool, cool as heck. Notice I say heck. I guess I thought this was the Avatar channel for a moment there. Getting confused.
Flipping fudge and other words, explicit words that I don't like to say.
There we go. Kick it off. Yeah,
Oof.
said one earlier, but yeah, not on the recording.
No, that's true.
I like their little cocoa guns because when we first saw them, I was like, "Are those toy guns? What are those?" But yeah, they just load them up with the hot to melt those poor little snowmen. No, and I liked when we saw the snowman. He had like a book that was like, what was it? Minions Come Easy or some sort of
Yes.
Minions guidebook. And then yeah, he just pulls out some ice cubes and makes them, and he's looking all evil, laughing.
And there's like, he has thousands of trays as well to be like, alright, here you go. Here's my army.
Yeah, that's the new dump, by the way, for North Pole. Just yeah, wherever we left those, the refuse bin at the North Pole.
I mean, I don't know like where all the materials that Santa gets rid of for his toys, of course. I don't know like where those.
That's a good point.
Go.
Big bonfire.
And maybe he has a recycling program. I'm not exactly sure. You mentioned early on like there obviously were probably a few other jokes that went over kids' heads, but I honestly do wonder as well like the mistletoe bit.
Yeah, when they all start hugging and kissing each other, give enough time for them to get surrounded.
To be fair, they're not like male or female, so and again I know I'm using male pronouns for the snowman, but I don't know. Just sorry, I go into it.
Oh, and by the way, you mentioning that, did you hear the gag of, because the first time we see those surveillance elves, they're kind of like, these women, they want a commitment, but why go, I can't remember what the euphemism he said, but it was basically, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? And they're chuckling like, yeah, that's right, screw those ladies. But then the next time we cut to them, we cut in halfway through the sentence, so we don't know what exactly he said before. But he was like, "Yeah, my wife came in when I was wearing it, and she was like, 'What are you wearing that for?' And he's like, 'I was just trying on, but she thought I was wearing it.'" And it was like, is he saying that he was wearing her clothing there, or is that a little call out for something else?
That went over my head.
Okay.
I think the euphemism he uses is wreath.
Oh, why by the reef? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Also, I have no idea what that euphemism, why buy the cow if you already have milk means.
Oh, really? You never heard that one?
Never. That's like the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, that's like, if you can sleep with the lady, why bother marrying her? You can already get what you're looking for from them. You don't need to have the commitment.
Interesting. I thought it meant more like milking a woman, but it's like, okay.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it took it more literal.
Well, I immediately went there. Just okay. Anyway, that's disgusting.
Yeah. By the way, one of my first girlfriend, her grandma would always go after him and be like, "Don't have sex with him. Don't have sex with your boyfriend. Oh, you know what he's gonna say? Why buy the cow when I could get the milk for free?" She used to say that so much. I heard her say it multiple times when I was there, and it was just like, man, this is so old school.
Here's a weird one. This has nothing to do, like, maybe not anything to do, but like, I'm surprised that the Christmas mouse wasn't there. Like, he was only present in, I guess,
Oh
Santa's
yeah,
personal quarters. Obviously, like, our lead into go see Santa initially, but it was like, I'm surprised that he wasn't like more involved, or at least we didn't see him like behind or on like Santa's shoulder.
yeah. That's a fair point. I kind of forgot about that little mouse. Yeah, another unrelated story, slightly off. I was at this store I was working at the other day, and this little mouse came running out of a hole, and it saw me as it ran out, got spooked, ran back in, and then it poked its head out a few seconds later and was just staring at me for a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this mouse is so cute. Then all of a sudden it ran at me, smashed into my foot, went flying up in the air, rebounded, ran again, smashed into my other foot, and went flying in the air. And it went flying enough that it could run away from me, but I was like, what was that mouse thinking? It was staring at me all that time, and then ran right at me. Twice.
Was there like a mouse hole nearby?
Yeah, yeah, there was a little hole that it poked its head out of and came out of.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
It ran into the hole, then saw me, came out, and was like, oh, let me see this guy, and then it was like, let me attack the giant. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to clamp my leg.
In terms of the snow goons, or I guess snow minions,
Hmm.
their design kind of looks like I've seen it somewhere before. Like probably, yeah. Again, I'm not calling them like, oh, they're just like recycling designs or anything like that. But maybe like it's come out since, I don't know. Like just probably you've seen the minions design probably somewhere else, like in the copious amounts of Christmas iconography like that people put up every year.
Oh, God. Yeah, so many.
I also like the fact that the reindeer they fly by way of like jet boots or hooves.
I like that too. Yeah, they were the first augmented ones from Santa.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, and another semi-inappropriate joke. There was it was when we see the elf factory, we get the gag when it's like a racetrack to get the cars into the bag. And then for some teddy bears, they got like a slot machine. And then during that little number there, we see one lady who's like, "Oh, I sure hope Santa's single." And it was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh my gosh."
Well, that's another thing. I was like, wait a minute, where's Mrs. Claus? Like, shouldn't she be here somewhere?
Maybe he's been putting on too many pounds from eating those cookies. She left him. That's why he seems so self-conscious about them.
Perhaps. I would have thought he knew that. If he has the ability to like see everybody at everywhere all at once, I'm surprised he doesn't know about cookies having a high. Well, I don't know if they have high, but they do have calories in them, or large amounts of calories in them. Excuse me.
Yeah, I thought that was a funny little gag. Lots of small little moments like that. And what'd you think about the little kid that we see? The little when the snowman takes over, he manages to get the secret of the what do they say about the sleigh? That it can bend space and time, do they say?
Yeah, it has something tachyons, and basically like creates a not personal local wormhole. There we
A
go.
warp hole or
Or I
something?
guess local black hole would be the term, but yeah, no, he's able to bend space and time. I prefer the magic version of Santa, but that's just me.
Yeah, and then he finally manages to be like, oh, now I can do the same thing that he did. Ah ha ha ha. Then he goes to this little house and sees this girl. And he's like, here you go, a present.
As soon as you said or as soon as they said like the snowman was going to replace him, I immediately thought like, you can't replace, or yeah, the Santa Claus is like behind bars. You can't replace me. It's not going to work. And immediately I'm like, yeah, wait, he's right, because how is he supposed to get down the chimney?
Oh, it's fair. Well, I still wonder how Santa gets down the chimney, though. That's another question.
That's magic. He's like a vampire. He turns into mist and goes down.
Oh, well, there you go. It's solved.
No, that's not the way he does it. But with the girl, not the imaginary one in the snowman's dreams, but in that he actually sees. I love that bit where her like her whole mouth gets stuck on the she's gonna kiss the doll that she has. I love that. That was a good bit.
Oh, I didn't like the blooper for that either.
Hey man, if you're an animator, you're probably proud of that.
Could be. But I was like, man, this little girl, I mean, she's got some issues. She's a little bit of a freak. It's like, oh no, my doll isn't what I wanted. Oh, I'm just gonna start crying. And yeah, once she gets the new doll, immediately those waterworks they get turned off, and she's all happy again. But I guess little kids can be like that. Now I think about it.
Yes. To be fair, she did kiss the snowman and not Santa Claus, so it's like, all right, she still at least showed appreciation to who it was that gave the gift, despite Santa being there.
Yeah,
And of course, also, shouldn't you be in bed? You can't be like, seeing Santa Claus when he's at work.
hey, some of those little kids, they always sneak down there during the Christmas movies with Santa.
Well, that's always what happens. But anyway, it's funny with. It's so funny that you mentioned Jimmy Neutron. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this is the creator of Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if he directed, but I guess he, or maybe he did. I don't know if he had a hand in the movie first, and then if he was a creative consultant or exclusive producer on the TV series. But it's so funny because I'm like, oh, wow, the kid's design is pretty much what Jimmy's mom looks like.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're definitely right.
Minus being a ginger minus being a redhead and instead of being a brunette. I guess there's a bit of auburn in her hair.
I should say I mainly single out Steve Odenkirk, or Odekirk. I think I'm saying his name wrong. Oh, now I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting it wrong too.
Yeah, he was a co-creator with Jimmy Neutron with the same guy who directed this, John A. Davis.
Okay.
And yeah, so it seems like they're a pretty close working pair. I mainly know the Odekirk name. God, why am I saying it? Odenkirk. Combining Captain Kirk and Odin together, I guess. But so yeah, I guess the two of those guys.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm...
But no, you're right. I can now that I'm looking at her, I can totally see it in my head. Yeah, and I guess this would have been around the same time. I think Jimmy Neutron was what, maybe 2000 or something close to that.
I actually see that movie in theaters, but I think it was 2001 if I recall, because this is 97. So they probably were getting into production early on by this point.
Yeah, I think you're right for the movie. Oh yes, you are. You are right.
Pulled that one right out of my rear.
Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters, but I desperately wanted to. My parents wouldn't take me because they were against going to the movie theater.
You wanted to see that one?
Oh, I love Jimmy Neutron. Hell yeah, I want to see that.
I don't want to sound like I just out of nowhere, I'm just not put on any hate. I'm just like, what, wow, okay, you actually knew about that one. I didn't know about that until the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I had the tape for it.
So did I.
The green, what do they call those?
Yeah, the VHS itself was green, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the outside was...
Dude, I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, some of those VCR or VC, well, that too, but some of those VHSs, man, you can get creative with the coloring of those.
Yeah. Oh, I guess the movie came before the series. Maybe I was just really excited from the trailers for that movie. But either way, I was definitely pushing my parents to, please, can I at least go see this? It's a kid's movie, but no, it wasn't about the movie itself. It was about the theaters, the dens of iniquity.
Good use of wording there. That's one of the rare series, I want to say series, just overall series. That's one of the rare series where it started off as a movie first.
Yeah, or at least one that's because there's been plenty that have done that, but most of the time people, it's like, what? There was an animated series off that movie? Oh, it must have been crap. I haven't heard of it. I think most people, when they think of Jimmy Neutron, they think of the TV show.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to poll people, get a survey of that. And I'm not counting Clone Wars as that because, a certain somebody was like, hey, let's merge some episodes together and put it as a movie.
Yeah, I was just thinking of all the Disney ones. The Little Mermaid series, I love that, but I don't think people remember it. Tarzan and Jane and the Buzz Lightyear, the one.
Star Command.
There's so many of those things. But
to be fair, though, this is one where I wondered if from the very beginning they were going to do an animated series, but they also wanted to do a movie.
For Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah, I mean, again, I have not read anything behind the scenes on that show. I'm just saying, because usually they would do, an animated series and maybe maybe it would get a movie eventually, not like a TV movie, but an actual like proper movie.
Yeah, and especially because it was produced by Nickelodeon, so you'd think that they were, yeah, pushing for a TV series, but yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, something I just realized, it's kind of like Transformers, where Transformers has a TV series first, then it has a movie, and I guess it's the same thing with My Little Pony and G.I. Joe back in the day. I think, I don't know, did My Little Pony have out, like a movie? I'm not really sure. Other than the one that came out in 2017, I just mean like before Gen 4.
Well, just to halt this Jimmy Neutron talk before we get too far, we'll save that for when we eventually do the movie, which I would love to do one day. A few more notes for this one. I don't have too much left, but I did appreciate the random, just little thoughtful little touches and details, like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Red Alert in there. I thought that was pretty cute.
Which, that actually scares me because he's not on the sleigh. Like, he's not part of the reindeer.
Maybe he's retired. You know, maybe he's gone off and left a new generation.
He's always supposed to be the spry, youthful one. I'm like, did they just like mount his head on the wall with that?
Oh my goodness!
Because I like the bit. Because if you notice in this, when Snowman goes on his version of the sleigh, he has 8 or 9 reindeer. I checked, so I'm like, oh, they actually. Because at first I thought they didn't, because I'm anal about that. But then I'm like, just because I love, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, or the Japanese Japanese puppetry movie, or TV special, excuse me. But, yeah, I just noticed that Santa didn't have Rudolph in there, so I was like, oh, what the hey? But this is how Snowman did, so it was like, nice attention to detail there.
Yeah, more little attention to detail that I liked. When they have the ride, the kind of going through the museum and learning about how Santa's shop works. I appreciate the little, like the mock-up with the robots of the ones in the what do you call it, like the toy factory. You just see the robot Santa and all that stuff. I thought that was so cute. I love that.
Yeah, recreation almost as if it is like, a ride at Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. And that whole bit with the penguin, when the snowman decides, like, okay, as no one's looking, I'm gonna hop off this thing, and the penguin notices him and he like raises his hat to him, like, ha ha ha, look at me subverting all this.
I more thought it was like, see you later, and hopefully you don't snitch on me.
Maybe. But then when the penguin and him show up, I don't know, that was giving me some vibes of The Wrong Trousers, if you remember that.
I thought so. Yeah, I wonder if that was a shout out. Speaking of which, that's coming out, isn't it? Or, sorry, the next, version of it is coming out.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, that's exciting.
On Netflix, Something Afoul.
I'll definitely have to give that a watch. I always like those guys.
Yeah, also, I just realized, what's a penguin doing in the North Pole?
Maybe he's friends with that, what was it, like a Yeti? Or I guess it was supposed to be a polar bear, that big guy, right?
Yeah, there was a polar bear, there was a indigenous-looking person, there was a walrus, and then there was a penguin. A penguin, sorry, not the, Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah, maybe the penguin was coming to visit a relative, and they're like, oh, you gotta see the sights while you're here. The Santa Museum? Oh, everyone's gotta see that at least once. Maybe that's it. But, can't think of too much else. I did appreciate the early chase after we see that, yeah, the snowman decides to steal that recorder, and all hell breaks loose. The red alerts are going. Everyone's jumping action. We got to stop this thief. And we get this cool little snowmobile chase. I thought that they did a good job with the action throughout this for such kind of a, definitely a lower budget CGI effort. I think that they put the work in where they needed to. They made those scenes really pop.
Coming back to it, I thought there was more of a speeder bike chase to it, but when I was when I was remembering that scene, I thought there was more of the speeder bike chase, but not really.
Yeah, not too much. There's a little bit of a touch of it in there, but yeah, not too much.
And it doesn't need to be references like the short, but just
the show. Yeah,
I assumed that they were going to go there, but they didn't.
Yeah, what we had was fun, I think. But yeah, I feel like I've come around to the end of my notes. Do you have too much more on your end?
No, I just once again like the fact that it ends with the Snowman becoming friends with Santa Claus. Like he's the one to extend the hand and realize, the way to end this is, of course, giving him exactly what he needs. Wants, of course, yes, but also needs. And it's not just
Yeah.
the recorder, but it is being a friend. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and I like that it opened up like even though they're having this big, what seemed like an epic war, no one really got hurt. Some people got some frostbite, I think he says, which is no laughing matter necessarily.
No, it's not.
But for them, it's just like, oh, it's all fun and games. Let's have like an annual snowball fight kind of thing, just to remember this. But maybe Santa's not taking seriously the welfare of his elves, but I don't know.
Don't worry, he's in his mind. He's just prepping them to all become cyborgs.
There you go. Oh, you got a missing finger? Oh, I can help you out with that perfectly. Come into my workshop. Yep. Oh no, that's the beginning of it. But yeah, I guess if we've come to the end of our little Christmas special or should I say holiday special for this year, I very much appreciate this pick, Isaac. I'd never heard of this, came out of left field, and yeah, who knew that this had so much connection to my childhood, even though I hadn't seen it. So that's fun.
Like I said, I was thinking this year, what else can I do? Even though I want to, eventually we'll go to the mainstream, but I'm still happy to look for stuff that's really I don't know if this is stupidly obscure niche. Maybe it is, but I wouldn't know because I'm kind of closeted here. Just yeah, I don't really do much research and pay attention, so who knows.
Yeah, and at least I try to come in and counterbalance every now and again. Black Christmas, I think, is pretty well known, at least in horror circles these days. So at least that it gives us a nice, well-rounded Christmas this year.
Would you say this avoids all the trappings and the cliches of a Christmas special?
It depends. But it depends what sphere you're in. This is a little Christmas, kids comedy special, so it delivers in that niche, and has a little bit of the heartwarming stuff at the end. But it all depends what you're going for. Some of those Christmas stuff can be so sappy and kind of saccharine, like it almost gives you a bad taste of how sappy they can be at times.
Did you find this at all sappy?
I don't think so. No, I think it was all just lighthearted fun all the way through. Even the Snowman's villainy was still portrayed as comedic throughout. It wasn't really like, oh no, he's really becoming evil and he's trying to kill Santa. It was just, let me just lock that guy up and pretend to be him. I'll even get a little hat and sew the name Santa in it. Maybe that'll fool the kids.
I would just recommend this to all our regulation listeners and comment leavers because if you got 30 minutes or so, just it's Christmas Day maybe, and you're opening gifts and presents, or you're spending time with your close relatives, loved ones, or friends. This is something to put on in the background. I think this is very lighthearted fun, and you will recognize maybe some, hey, isn't that something something like this. You'll get some of that, and I don't think it's going to do anything negative to your psyche or the holiday itself, other than maybe people will not find the animation great.
Yeah, if you can handle some primitive CGI, and there is one or two moments where the primitiveness of it was just a smidge creepy, but very few. The only one that really sticks out in my head is the little girl when she comes over and it's kissing the snowman and goes over to thank Santa. If you look, her legs don't move at all. She just floats across the surface.
I noticed that too.
And that gave me a minute of the chills. Ugh.
It is interesting.
I don't know what it is with CGI that does that to me.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't find the snowman creepy, and I didn't find Santa Claus creepy either. He's very round, which makes sense. Because he's, I mean, call him human or not, he has the ears as well. Maybe he's part elf, but he was able to move around, and despite what the way the elves look. Again, they had legs, so it's interesting how with her they just reduced her to she's wearing her nightgown and you don't see her feet.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted to save some of their attention and budget for those bigger action set pieces, which is fair because a lot of that stuff turned out great. So
who knows?
But yeah, definitely this short little thing. If you want to just throw it in your Christmas playlist, I think you'll come away with a nice little piece of fun for the season. And I hope that we added some fun to your season as well, and they enjoyed these two picks. I know I certainly did, and Isaac, happy Christmas. There you go. Happy holidays, I guess.
A Merry Crisis for you too.
Yeah, Xmas. Remember when that was a thing? Do they still say that?
I don't know. Who even knows?
But yeah, I guess the next time you'll hear from us will I probably be New Year's. I don't know. I don't know how weeks work.
Oh boy. We have some plans for that too, but once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, those in between, and affiliate for listening to us ramble on about niche stuff and horror stuff this Christmas, because those both go together well, right?
There you go.
Till next time, and maybe not next year, but yeah, till next time at least. Now, all of you gotta be careful this year, or be careful. All of you gotta be careful, because you never know if you're gonna create your own villain by knocking down something that means something special to them and breaking it. So, don't speed, or else. Till next time, peace.
When we see the blooper of the guy who comes out and he's like an unfinished effect, and they're like, "Oh, something's wrong with the effect. We can see this part of him," and he's like, "Oh man."
The wiring showing.
Yeah, that was the one funny blooper that I appreciated. I was like, "Hey, that's kind of a clever gag. I like that."
I guess we still gotta do Tokyo Godfathers, don't we?
Oh yeah, let's.
I see that is like a bad thing. It's good. It's good film.
Yeah, just more things to add to the schedule, but no, I'd love to do that.
This is called setup.